Pleasant day. Our today's discussion is all about how mankind were created, and this will be the last part of our discussion about the stories of creation. So specifically, we'll be tackling about Prometheus and Pandora. Our objectives for this lesson are: first is to examine the great philosophical questions on how the world and mankind came into being. Second is to give the origins of the first people and of the human community. Third is to recognize parallel creation stories between different mythologies and the Bible. And lastly is to assume social roles based on different mythologies. First, let's get to know the people who would play a vital role in this story. So we have Prometheus. So he is the son of the Titan Iapetus and the Oceanid Asia, and he is also called as Forethought, for he always sighed about the future and planned things for what might happen tomorrow, or next week, or next year, or it might be in 100 years to come. So he sided with Zeus during the war between the Titans and the Olympians. That's why, unlike his parents, he, together with his brother, were not imprisoned into Tartarus and were free to walk the earth. He is also described to be very wise, even wiser than the Olympians themselves. Next we have Epimetheus. He is also the son of the Titan Iapetus and the Oceanid Asia and the brother of Prometheus. And if Prometheus is called as Forethought, he is called as the Afterthought, for he'd always been so busy thinking about yesterday or last year or 100 years ago that he didn't know what would happen after some time. He is described as a scatterbrained person who invariably followed his first impulse and then changed his mind afterwards. Last one, we have Pandora. So Pandora is the first mortal woman whom Hephaestus created under Zeus's wish. Her name means the gift of all or all gifted, and each god bestowed her a gift of beauty, lovely voice, good manners, a kind heart, a skill in many arts, and of course, curiosity. Zeus also played a major role in this story, but I didn't include him anymore since I know you're already well acquainted with him because we have discussed him on our previous lesson. Now let's get into the story. Prometheus brings fire to mankind, and this will also cover the story about how the first woman was created and how man's golden age has ended. This story that I will tell might differ from others because, like what I've said again and again, there are several accounts that tells each stories differently. So there might be a little difference from the version that I will tell and from the others or from the stories that you might already know. But this version will be from Edith Hamilton. After the world was created, Zeus asked Epimetheus to create living things to live and take care of the world, and these were men and animals. Epimetheus created animals first. He gave all the best gifts to them: the strength and swiftness and courage and shrewd cunning, fur and feathers and wings and shells and the like, until no good was left for men, no protective covering, and no quality to make the match for the beast. Too late, as always. He was sorry and asked his brother's help. Prometheus then took over the task of creation and thought out a way to make mankind superior. He fashioned them in a nobler shape than the animals, upright like the gods, and then he went to heaven to the sun, where he lighted a torch and brought down fire, a protection to men far better than anything else, whether fur or feathers or strength or swiftness. So basically, he stole fire from Zeus, and of course, Zeus was angered because of it. But not only this, But he had also arranged that humans should get the best part of any animal sacrificed, and the gods the worst. He cut up a great ox and wrapped the good eatable parts in the hide, disguising them further by piling entrails on top. Beside this heap he put another of all the bones dressed up with cunning and covered with shining fat, and bade Zeus choose between them. Zeus took up the white fat and was angry when he saw the bones craftily tricked out. But he had made his choice, and he had to abide by it. Thereafter only fat and bones were burned to the gods upon their altars. Men kept the good meat for themselves. Of course, Zeus was extremely angered because of this, so he decided to orchestrate revenge towards Prometheus and mankind. During that time, men lived like gods, never knowing sorrow or toil, and not even a single sickness harming them, and when they died, it was as if they were just falling asleep. This was called men's golden age, and Zeus, because of his anger, decided to end this. Zeus made a great evil for men, a sweet and lovely thing to look upon, in the likeness of a shy maiden, and all the gods gave her gifts, silvery raiment and a broidered veil, a wonder to behold, and bright garlands of blooming flowers and a crown of gold. Great beauty shone from it. Because of what they gave her, they called her Pandora, which means the gift of all. When this beautiful disaster had been made, Zeus brought her out, and wonder took hold of gods and men when they beheld her. From her, the first woman, come series of women, who are an evil to men, with the nature to do evil. Hermes delivered Pandora in Epimetheus' home. He told him that Pandora was Zeus's gift to him. He said that Pandora should be his wife. Epimetheus accepted Pandora without any second thoughts. Prometheus had often warned his brother to beware of any gift that Zeus might send, for he knew that the mighty tyrant could not be trusted. But when Epimetheus saw Pandora, how lovely and wise she was, he forgot all warnings, and took her home to live with him and be his wife. In her new home, Pandora was really happy, and even Prometheus was delighted with her loveliness when he saw her. She had brought a golden box with her, which Zeus had given her before she left Olympus, and which he had told her was holding many precious items. But wise Athena had never warned her, never to open it, nor to look inside. They must be jewels, she said to herself, and then she thought of how they would add to her beauty if only she could wear them. Why did Zeus give them to me if I should never use them, nor even look at them? She asked. The more she thought of the golden box, the more interested she was to see what was in it. And every day she took it down from her shelf and felt the lid, and tried to explore it without opening it inside. Why do I know what Athena has taught me about this? And she said, she isn't stunning, so she will consider jewels useless. I guess I'm going to look at them anyway. Athena never learns. No one really learns. Pandora opened the lid of the box a little, just to look inside. There was a clicking, rustling sound all at once, and before she could shut it down again, 10,000 alien creatures came out with death-like faces and hideous bony bodies that no one in the entire world had ever seen. They fluttered around the space for a moment, then flew away to find dwelling places wherever homes were. They were diseases and cares. Mankind had not had any kind of sickness before that time. nor felt any trouble of mind, nor worried about what would bring tomorrow. These creatures came into every home and nestled into the minds and souls of men, women, and children without anyone seeing them. It put an end to all their joy. Ever since that day, they have drifted and fluttered, unseen and unheard of, all over the world, bringing misery and sorrow and death into every household. All that was left inside the box was hope, lying in the bottom. Hope was the only surviving item. It's a shame hope never left the package. And that was the way Zeus wanted to make humans more miserable than before Prometheus had created them. And that is how the golden age of mankind ended. Zeus did not fail to have himself punish Prometheus. He had bound Prometheus to a rock where an eagle would come and eat his liver, which, according to ancient Greeks, was believed to be where feelings lay. His liver would grow back every day, and the eagle would come back every day to eat it again and again. Just how awful is that, right? But don't worry, because in the following stories, the great hero Heracles will free Prometheus from this fate that Zeus has given him. And that ends our discussion about how the world and mankind were created. I hope you learned lots of things and became familiarized with all the characters I introduced because they would be vital for the following stories regarding Greek mythology. Thank you for listening.